So you've actually used the wrong picture. That's not Randy Pitchford that you used in the thumbnail. But basically,
yeah,
Randy Pitchford, one of the creators of Borderlands, has went on a very strange Twitter meltdown. So he's one of the creators of the video games.
Okay.
And he has now gone on a really quite bizarre meltdown on Twitter. And it's worth taking a look at just out of sheer comedy. So he said, quote tweets this: "For the Borderlands movie, I feel like they should have just done a retelling of Borderlands 1, but with more depth in the game. I don't know why they disregarded the source material so much just to have it so non-Borderlands players would be confused from watching it." And he said this in his quote tweet: "Is this a sentiment anyone else shares? Should the movie have just done a one-to-one retelling of the Borderlands 1 story? This platform lets someone like me hear from someone like you, which is cool. Thanks in advance for your helpful and constructive feedback." Now, you'd listen to that or read that and you'd go, "Oh, wow, he's actually being pretty engaged, isn't he?"
Seems like it, yeah.
Promising, isn't it?
Reasonable.
No.
Uh-oh.
This is definitely a sentiment a lot of us felt. I mean, as Borderlands fans, we're supposed to be your target audience, no? So why was the movie simply not about Borderlands? First, it should have been rated R. Second, your casting choices were a bit strange. And most importantly, story. You saw the movie? You think the rating had an impact? I'm curious. Yes. What from the movie could have happened differently and better by doing something that could only be done with an R rating? Can you think of anything you could share with me? Okay. Now, with that, you know, I've got to say, hey, that's a bit of a weird thing to say, but it kind of makes some sense, doesn't it? You know, sort of a response here and there. No, this is him copy and pasting this reply to most people. With, no matter what they say, he's just gone on a weird meltdown. Borderlands is not a PG-13 story. That's the first problem. This should have been rated R, Peggy 18. That wasn't the question. But did you see the movie? If so, can you tell me something specific that only could have been done with an R? This is like a multi-millionaire having a meltdown on Twitter, throwing his toys out the pram like a child. So this guy, I disagree. It didn't need to be a retelling. It just needed to not be PG-13. It shouldn't have pretty much neglected the source material IP, but it also shouldn't have made it so non-fans wouldn't enjoy it. And the writing just wasn't enjoyable. So the ratings, what mattered to you? Did you see the movie? If so, you get the general gist of this guy going absolutely crazy and coping here.
And he got called out, it seems. Yeah,
he did get called out. Now, there's a better one, actually. He gets called out even better because someone quite literally does what he asks. Again, look, all this again, still, what? Still the same thing. Still the same thing.
Wow.
Just constant. Just constant. When I heard blah, 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 blah. Did you see the movie? That's all it is. And this guy goes, the movie should have been rated R. The franchise's irreverent humor, gore, dark jokes are not PG-13 material. The cast was an absolute shambles. I love Kevin Hart and Cate Blanchett, but they're not Roland and Lilith.
True.
And he still did the copy and paste, even though that guy quite literally explains why the R rating's important. And he gets called out for it properly here. I get that you're just copy pasting to anyone mentioning the rating, but this one, they did actually tell you. Oh, goodness me. Anyway, there you go. It's just a bit of fun.
And you'll see that person, this Darren Barnes, got 110 likes for that response. So people were reading the thread, and finally somebody pushed back on his stupid copy paste. That is a meltdown. Yeah, at first it doesn't look like it until you realize every time someone brings up the rating, he's saying, did you see the movie? What about the rating? Could we have done differently? It's almost like you didn't make the game. I mean, have you ever seen your own game of what's rated R?
Well, it's over. I mean, it's over the top. you know, that's one of the things about the games. They are over the top.
Yes.
And you cannot do over the top like Deadpool if you are not rated R. You can't take it to the next level. If to have a, like, you know, a comparison, a fair comparison, right? Because you have the same irreverent dark humor. You have the same over the top gore and just ridiculousness. They both of these films you would have assumed would be R, which is why we never thought Disney would do it, right? So that's what this is. So you know, if you're looking for a direct comparison, that's perfect. And that's what I would have answered to Knucklehead here, is said, dude, did you see Deadpool? It's the same sphere of, you know, stuff. Yeah, this wasn't good at all. But
nobody wants a PG rated Deadpool. I think we got that with Wolverine Origins or something, right? I mean, that's I think it's I also think it's a little bit interesting from Randy Pitchford's perspective. He's probably too close to it to be able to give it an unbiased critique. You know, it's almost like you might enjoy your home movies, but nobody else will. And so he's probably a little too close. He's seeing these this IP brought to life beyond a video game, played by notable actors, and you know, it's a big screen push, so it's easy probably to get caught up in the hype and the pomp and circumstance of that, and not really, you know, he's trying to cope with the fact that the movie is not being well received at all. I mean, single digits on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics. That's bad. That's real bad, especially when the fans are down around 50%, you know, the viewers.
I know.
That's bad, man.
But also it's only 500 reviews, just 500 plus reviews. So basically no one bothered to even review it.
Well, and that's the other thing. It's doing poorly. Nobody wanted to see it, and the people who didn't like it.
Well, I mean, from the word go, from the first teaser trailer or whatnot, where you felt like, okay, well, the aesthetic is good. But that was the last good thing I could say about it, because from the actual trailer forward, it just was like, I'm not inspired to see this. In fact, that's my sentiment is going the wrong way on this film, you know? And so I wasn't going to waste my precious dollars and time, which my time is now far more valuable at the moment, to go see this, even if I was like one of 8 people that reviewed it, you know? And yeah, like I said, I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it didn't even engage me there. So what's interesting is this is one way to respond to this with this meltdown. The reason that I put Strauss in the thumbnail is because that dude was like, you know, he was reacting to the 10% rating score on Rotten Tomatoes, saying that, you know, wait a bit, let's give this movie a chance.
Oh, that's appropriate. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I mean, I thought we were talking about that. I didn't realize that Pitchford had lost his stuff. So, this is crazy though. I mean, this guy he put together the games. He's a writer. You think he would understand, you know? And I mean, playing defense on, well, this is an entirely different story, I'm fine with, but it didn't really serve the audience at all. So if you're a fan, you're like, all right, you know, this is not really Borderlands. And if you're a non-fan, you're like, wow, this is totally different than I would have expected. So, I mean, they subverted everybody's expectations by, you know, dropping the ball further, dropping the bar lower. I mean, I don't get it. You know, my expectations are this is going to be a fun, entertaining video game adaptation. And there are so few of those. I know there have been more recently, but there really are so few of those. It would have been nice for this to be one of those things. But
well, it had potential, but they just kind of squandered it, didn't they? Very, very funny. And then they went to try and promote, oh, we're working on Borderlands 4. It's like, no one cares now.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt.
No.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt. And you have to expect that he owns the IP, so he's really hoping the movie does well.
Yeah,
I commend him for being out there and willing to ask questions, but he was fronting. It was a fake. It was a head fake. He wasn't really ready to respond to those questions.
Yeah, no doubt.
Even this person, PG-13 definitely hurt the movie. That wasn't the question, but did you see the movie? He should stop asking that because clearly not a lot of people saw it.
Well, but
it's so frustrating, isn't it?
But the people who calling out everything throughout the movie clearly have seen the movie. So
yeah,
he's not engaging in a dialogue in good faith. I mean, that's just ultimately
it's disingenuous, but then also it's intellectually disingenuous to claim that you have to watch a movie to appreciate or have some form of criticism on the movie. A trailer is an advert for the movie. It's there to be judged. So if people looked at the trailer and went, "Woof, this is not for me," they also should be heard and listened to as well. It's incredibly disingenuous to be like, "Well, you must watch the movie to have an opinion on it." No, because most, like, if your movie's bombing, you also have to get to the root cause of why no one's even going to watch it. So, he's just like, "Well, did you watch it?" It's like, well, no, but that's also a problem. You should listen to those people as well.
The film
so stupid.
The film seems to be like somebody that walks up to a bookshelf and they see a series, like a series of books that are clearly, 1 through 9 volumes or whatnot, and they reach and they grab number 5. So they picked up in the middle of something that nobody had any familiarity with. Like, these are the people when they're old now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's just like and like I said, the reason that it's set up for sequels is because at the end of this film they introduced the Destroyer. So
okay. Yeah.
So it's just like, beyond that, there's a lot to look at. But yeah, I won't waste my time or money. Mostly my time now. I won't waste my time.
Time is money.
And while I'm rendering a video, I might take a look at some of the things that I've got from clips, but that's about it because
Well, we've got a super chat on this from Big Al Games for $6.43 over on Streamlabs. So thank you so much. Says, Randy also worked on Aliens Colonial Marines and refuses to acknowledge that game's many, many flaws. He also apparently took money from Colonial Marines' budget to put towards Borderlands 2. Well, he's a scumbag then, isn't he? So there you go. Let's move on from this.
One last thing about that. I saw the trailers. I remember seeing the trailers for John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins' Super Mario Brothers adaptation. And I knew just from the trailers, I did not want anything to do with it. I can smell a dish and tell you that I don't want to eat it.
Well, so that's the thing, isn't it? So when people have a criticism of things, people always try to make the most simplistic argument of, what films have you made? And it's like, look, I don't have to be a Michelin star chef to know what tastes good.
Right.
This is it's absolutely simpleton logic to try and refute someone's justifiable and constructive argument on something by just going, "Oh, well, you've not made any films. Go away, child."